Communion is important to the believer because it's all about the victory and the hope that we have in Christ Jesus. As Jesus sat down on the night of the Passover, as he was partaking the feast of the unleavened bread with his disciples, they understood well the symbolism of the bread. The unleavened bread symbolized the fact that the Israelites didn't have time to wait for the bread to rise before they got out of Egypt, before they escaped. And if we think about it, it was right about that time when Jesus was about to go to the Garden of Gethsemane. There was a big transition taking place for the disciples, something that was about to change forever. For a minute, though, I would like to rewind maybe even thousands of years prior to that. There was a mysterious figure by the name of Melchizedek mentioned in Genesis. He had an encounter with Abraham, and Abraham paid tithes to him, 1/10 of his plunder. He was called the King of Salem, the King of Righteousness. In Hebrews, we understand that Jesus is from the order of Melchizedek, an order that has no beginning or the end. Why is that important? It's important because the ancient Levitical priesthood, which actually came after Abraham, the Aaronic priesthood offered sacrifices on behalf of the Israelites. But they had to offer continual sacrifices. And we are also told in Hebrews 9:14 that the sacrifice that Jesus brought, the new covenant, is superior to the old covenant because it's not just a washing away of sins, it is also a cleansing of the conscience. This washing of sin, this cleansing of consciousness is what equips us as holy heirs of the kingdom. Peter says we're a chosen and royal priesthood, and that Jesus is actually taking us as living stones and building us into a spiritual house, a spiritual dwelling. It's a beautiful thing. So as Jesus was sitting with them that Passover feast night, he said, "Take this bread, and when you eat it, think of me." He said, "Take this cup, take this fruit of the vine. Every time that you do it in remembrance of me." That's what is said in 1 Corinthians 11. We're also told in Acts 20, verse 7, that the first century disciples took the Lord's Supper, broke bread on the first day of the week. So that is why my mother said communion is the most important part of Sunday service. Why? Because it's about the victory that we have in Christ Jesus, the once and for all sacrifice that is continual. He is a priest from the beginning to the end. I love what happened after Jesus broke the bread and offered the fruit of the vine to his disciples. It said they sang a hymn, and then they left for the Mount of Olives. That was his destiny, the Garden of Gethsemane that night. And so I think right now might be a wonderful time to sing a Psalm of David. We're told that Jesus was a son of David. And so it just kind of makes me wonder if on that night the hymn that he sang was a hymn of his father. He was the Lord of David, but David was also his father. It's very beautiful. Communion is the most important part of Sunday service. That's what Norma Darbison Barnes said. Grace and peace, brothers and sisters. My name is Daryl Barnes.